Greetings, everyone. Hi, my name is Mike Bellum. I'm the president of Life Scientific, a company I founded in 1992 to represent manufacturers of parenteral production machinery. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you all very much for taking time out to attend this segment of the Lunch and Learn webinar series that we're running at least once a month. We plan on providing these generally on the third Wednesday of the month at 11:45. Occasionally, we'll have other programs that are coming up. We have one scheduled we'll discuss at the end for next month from our tank manufacturer. So hope you find everything useful and informative here. Just to give you a little heads up on the navigation, this is a live stream on our YouTube channel. It'll be available for sharing and future viewing. Just share the link you used today, and others can review the content if you find it appropriate for your associates. So you should be seeing a screen that looks largely like this, what I'm showing here. And just typical with the YouTube feed, if you hit this button, you go into full screen mode. But if you do come across some content that you want to address later at the end of the presentation, go ahead and hit escape and then go to the live chat segment and just enter any questions or comments that you have that you might want our presenter to discuss. Enter that information here, hit the arrow or send button, and we'll collect those and give them to Mike, Mr. Lawson, at the end of his segment. And then you can just hit the full screen again to see the remainder of the content. And again, you'll be able to view the full presentation at the end of the session and review it and study it and take it home and do whatever you like with it. So as mentioned before, we specialize in representation of pharmaceutical production equipment, largely for parenteral applications, but we do a fair amount of crossover into chemical and the beverage industry. We're based in St. Louis with project engineers that help us cover a good portion of the Midwest. And our product lines range from aseptic environments through container integrity testing and packaging. Over the years, our company's been involved in over 5,000 equipment projects throughout the Midwest, and we're happy to provide more detailed information via our website, or if there's anything specific that you're looking for, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We began representation of Bonfiglioli Engineering several years ago now. They were founded in 1974 by Giuseppe Bonfiglioli, and their manufacturing is based in Ferrara, Italy. Bonfiglioli has developed a broad range of technology for container integrity testing in the areas of leak detection, visual inspection, and Headspace Gas Analysis to help ensure the quality and safety of a wide variety of packaged products. Our presenter today is Michael Lawson, and since the mid-'80s, Mike has been involved in technical automation and control projects, first with Fluid Power Technology and then SMC Corporation. He then started with a sister company to Bonfiglioli, ATC, which is a custom automation company, and transferred to Bonfiglioli in 2014 as their sales director, and now is the sales director for the parent company to Bonfiglioli, which is the TASI Test and Inspection Group. And today, Mr. Lawson is going to discuss the importance and application of headspace gas analysis in sterile drug production and its applications in quality assurance. We hope you find it informative, and with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Mike Lawson.
Mike, thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity and the kind words. We are very grateful as a group to be partnered with LSI, and what a great company providing an excellent service, a unique company providing excellent service to the pharmaceutical industry. There are a lot of folks out there, but not a lot of folks in the industry that are specifically focused on pharma. So we're very honored to partner with you guys. So as Mike said, today I'm going to speak about Headspace Gas Analysis as an effective tool for quality assurance in lab equipment, but also in inline equipment, so in the manufacturing process. And this is a great technology. It's one of the newer technologies that's out in industry. It's been developed in the last 20 years, if you will. It started from university and worked its way out into industry. So starting off, I'm going to talk just a little bit about the company to give you a little background about TASI Test and Inspection. TASI Test and Inspection is a group of companies that was formed back about 5 years ago. It came from the TASI Group of companies, which are 12 companies representing about 250 million in throughput, so quite a large organization. We are the packaging and testing division for the company, so focused on testing of packaging type products, testing of devices in our group. Specifically, Bonfiglioli, CIFA, and ALPS focus more on the package side of the business, where CTS and H. Schreiner focus on the device. So a very, very nice group, and together we're the world leader in leak test and inspection. So these are our kind of where we are in the world. As Mike mentioned, Bonfiglioli being in Ferrara, Italy, a wonderful old world location with all of the things we love about Italy. About 1 hour from Venice and about 45 minutes from Bologna. So a very, very beautiful location with wonderful, kind people. In our North American headquarters is located in the Milwaukee area, just in a suburb called Oak Creek, outside of Milwaukee, where we have a 38,000 square foot facility that houses our engineering, sales, support, service. And then our manufacturing is done in Harrison, Ohio, at our facility there, a 70,000 square foot facility where we have full manufacturing capabilities. And then lastly, on the solid dose side, we have a company called CIFA in Northern Ireland that's a part of our group in Belfast, Northern Ireland, another beautiful location there in Ireland, and they make equipment for inspecting solid dose type pharmaceutical packages. So these are the companies that make up TASI Test. Now, concerning technologies, we have a variety of technologies that we utilize, and we have well over 43 years of experience in the application of these different technologies. Some are vacuum decay and pressure decay, vacuum decay being an ASTM consensus standard, F2338. We've been applying this for almost our entire existence, our 43 years as a company. Pressure decay, long-standing test method that's very well proven. Lid deflection, that's utilizing an LVDT or a Hall effect sensor to detect deflects in a closed package. Visual inspection, we apply this mainly to the pharmaceutical industry, but can be applied to other industries as well. And then force decay for like IV bags and things of that nature. But today we're going to focus on Headspace Gas Analysis. And so why Headspace Gas Analysis? Let's talk just a little bit about that. So taking a look at the offering that we have within the range, we have a full range of products, starting with those very small lab piece of equipment that can test maybe 4 to 6 parts a minute. It utilizes laser, tunable diode laser technology. And this is great for creating your methods, validating your product package types, and excellent for that upfront development work. The next type of machine would be an offline machine that could run roughly what it says, about 50 to 100 parts a minute. This is a single laser head, but it's more of an automated type piece of equipment, but just low speed production. Or maybe if you're going through clinical trials and you need more throughput than a lab machine. The last chassis type would be an inline system. So this is a cam-driven system that has been proven for many years in different types of filling machines, capping machines, similar technology that we utilize for leak testing, utilizing many different technologies, but including Headspace Gas Analysis. So this would be, once you go into full production, this would be the type of machine that you're looking at. We can run up to 600 parts per minute. And then in conjunction with that, as a high-speed piece of equipment, we can combine multiple technologies. So in Headspace Gas Analysis, many people want to detect the oxygen content in a headspace. So we have lasers that are tuned to that frequency. But you can also, in combination, have moisture analysis lasers as well. So lasers that are tuned to sense moisture. And so we can combine those two in the same machine and have a combination system. As well, we can also combine other technologies such as vacuum or pressure decay with Headspace Gas Analysis or visual inspection with Headspace Gas Analysis. Essentially, we can create a total package testing solution. So it's one chassis that can detect all the things that you want to detect on your package. We could even include some type of other new technologies such as thermal imaging or X-ray within the same type of system. So, and kind of lastly, as far as equipment goes, many people, as they have these Headspace Gas Analysis, they want to be able to validate these systems. They need to by requirement at the FDA. And so we make actually the test samples, reference samples, if you will. So these are vials that have a specific concentration of oxygen, a certified amount of oxygen in the container, and you can use these as reference samples to validate the equipment is working correctly. So kind of taking a look at the technology and giving an overview. So what is the purpose of Headspace Gas Analysis and how is it used? Well, really, as the slide states, it's to ensure the sterility and the stability in a finished and filled package. So this is a requirement by the FDA. It's a requirement for good manufacturing. And so this is what the objective was in creating these machines, to look at the headspace and ensure that the product is stable, that it's not going to oxidize and impact the quality of the product. So what are the types of packages that typically are used for Headspace Gas Analysis technology? It can be glass vials. It could be lyophilized product, freeze-dried product, oxygen-sensitive liquid products. We've even had applications for plastic products that have modified atmosphere, a noble gas, if you will, in the headspace, or vacuum in the headspace. So that's how the technology is applied. So kind of drilling down to the technology itself, I mentioned earlier, we use a tunable diode laser absorption spectroscopy as the technique or the technology that we use for conducting this test. And that is a laser beam that's passed through the headspace, and it is tuned to the frequency of the gas you're trying to detect. In many cases, that's oxygen. So oxygen actually resonates at 760 nanometers. So we apply a laser beam. If there's oxygen present, the oxygen molecules resonate. They degrade the laser beam, and you can get a reading. And that reading is directly correlated to a percentage of oxygen within the headspace. So we could do the same thing with moisture, simply by having a laser that is tuned to 1854 nanometers or CO2 at 1572. So, and the nice thing about these systems is you can actually combine. You can have one system that has one laser of each type or two lasers of each type. So each laser will roughly provide for a throughput of about 150 parts per minute. So for instance, if you have two oxygen lasers, you can run about 300 parts per minute. So you could essentially run and detect oxygen and moisture at 300 parts per minute, or for oxygen lasers at 600 parts per minute. So just looking at the diving a little deeper into the laser spectrum itself, our lasers operate basically in the near infrared spectrum, just slightly in the visible range, but mostly in the invisible range is for oxygen and for moisture and CO2 as well. So one of the nice things about this technology is it gives you information both qualitatively as well as quantitatively. So you can not only get a yes or no that you're beyond a threshold of oxygen, say you have a 5% oxygen threshold, that if it's above 5% or 2% oxygen, you want to reject it. But it can also tell you things about your actually is an in-process check to tell you that, okay, we're currently at 1% and it's moving up to 1.5%. Now it's at 2%. So it can tell you that your process is starting to creep a little bit and that something needs to be corrected. So it's a great qualitative or in-process check, if you will, for your system. And along with that, many people pull a vacuum on the headspace, and this can actually tell, because when you pull a vacuum, you're removing the oxygen molecules from the headspace. So it can tell you actually container closure integrity. It can confirm that, because if you have a leak, the vacuum will leak out and atmospheric air will leak in, and you can see that there's a change taking place, which is essentially telling you that the pressure or the vacuum level within your headspace has changed. You've had a leak at some point. So why should we monitor with using HGA technology, Headspace Gas Analysis? Well, again, the oxygen-sensitive liquid products or lyophilized products, it's a requirement. There's GMP standards from Europe that require this. USP 1207 that has been put in place is also driving a lot of this technology. And what are some of the impacts how can this affect the drug if you do lose headspace? So first, you could have degradation of an active drug. You could have a device that malfunctions, or a decrease in the shelf life or the potency of the drug. Someone's taking the drug, it's a life-saving drug, and the potency has been compromised. So all of these are reasons why we should be checking the headspace. So some of the other methods in the past, they were quite slow. They were destructive in nature. You had to pierce the septum of a vial in order to check the headspace. Basically, even with vacuum decay, you couldn't detect non-conforming parts in the lyophilization process. If you had a leak when you freeze-dried the product, the stopper might shrink and a leak would occur. So you lost all of the noble gas, the nitrogen, as the case may be, out of the headspace. And then when it heats back up, the stopper seals again. So when you conduct vacuum decay, it appears that the product is good, but in reality, the headspace is already leaked out during the lyophilization process. So, or as from the cooling, the temperature change, if you will. So looking at some of the strengths of our solution, we have as I mentioned before, we have a double path. So we pass the laser beam through the headspace, it hits a mirror and is received back by a transceiver, and we can detect, that's how we conduct our detection. So this gives us a very, very strong signal, and that overcomes many flaws in other people's design. So we don't have to use nitrogen as a blanket on the outside of our product when conducting our tests, which is a major cost saver and just makes the process much easier. And that's because our signal strength is so strong. Also, it helps to negate the Etalon effect, which is the refraction of light. As the light goes through the glass of a vial, it is refracted, and many times it causes the test to become very slow, or you can't get a reading but because of our strong signal, as well as some mechanical handling solutions that we have, we're able to overcome the Etalon effect. And then also because of our strong signal strength, we also don't have to use reference files as a part of our manufacturing process, where many of the other folks out there actually have to have reference files that are continually maybe 3 vials throughout each cycle. We don't have to do that. So kind of looking at the heart of our system, this is the laser itself, and the head is really the heart of all the systems. And this is a laser generator that can actually generate a beam through the headspace. And then there's a mirror that can be adjusted. The laser can be adjusted, so it can be conformed to many different size vials or different products. So starting to look at the simplest of our systems, this is the new laser cube system, which is a very small portable lab unit that we've created. You see the yellow laser in the system itself. You see the vial, and this system will automatically adjust and find the best location in the headspace for the test. So you put it in, you run it through its cycle, it raises and lowers the vial until it finds the optimal location to conduct the test, and then the testing begins. So very nice system. We're very excited about to be delivering this to the marketplace in the days to come. So taking a look at some of the inline solutions. So this shows our very flexible high-speed inline solution. And this solution can run up to 600 parts per minute. It's very flexible, and you can start with one head and run at 150 parts per minute. And as your production grows, you can also grow with the technology by adding the laser heads to the system up to 600 parts per minute. So in combination with that, I mentioned we also make combination systems, and these combination systems can combine 2 different technologies, and shows an example of one. This is a vacuum decay test with the chambers, and then moving over to the right as the video moves over, we have a Headspace Gas Analysis machine that is provided using the laser technology to check the headspace. So in essence, customers could utilize this for a very flexible solution if they only want to use one line that can detect different types of products. Maybe they have a liquid product that doesn't have a modified atmosphere. They'd want to use vacuum decay for that technology, for that type of vial. And then they have a modified atmosphere, maybe a lyophilized product that they want to run down the same packaging line. So by utilizing this combined technology, can be very space saving and give the customer tremendous amount of flexibility. So this just shows how the 4 lasers are set up in the system. Basically, the product comes down the line, it goes through an in-feed star wheel. It's then traversed through the different lasers. The test is accomplished. It goes to the outfeed, and bad products are rejected where you see the red arrow, and good products are passed down the line onto packaging with the green arrow. Oh, and this shows the same system, but a combined system, and kind of how you have a tray on, tray off type system with the 2 turrets. The first turret being we have the in-feed, and you feed that to the leak detection system. And then you have the laser inspection system, and then the outfeed. And that just kind of shows a close-up. So taking a look at some of the regulatory part, I mentioned at the beginning that there's a lot of regulations, both in Europe and in North America, that are already in place, as well as more new ones coming down the pipeline. And some of the ones for Europe, GMP 2008 Annex 1, there's a few regulations that talk about containers sealed under vacuum require maintenance. So you have to check the headspace, that if there's vacuum, you want to make sure that vacuum is maintained. If there's a noble gas in the headspace, you want to make sure that that's maintained to ensure preserve the product's sterility and stability. So, and again, there's more regulations, more stringent regulations even continue to come down the pipeline. And there's a harmonization globally of regulations between Asia, the US, North America, and Europe to kind of a consensus, to form a consensus on best practices. And concerning USP 1207, the U.S. Pharmacopoeia, this is some of the things that they are promoting and encouraging the industry to put into practice are to use deterministic test methods. So the old types of test methods were probabilistic, and that included blue dye, bubble testing, many different types of tests like that. And there were, as you can see, not reproducible, very subjective, insensitive, so high risk of error because it was operator dependent. But the new deterministic test methods, like Headspace Gas Analysis, are reproducible, sensitive, they're very quantitative, and low risk of error. So they're very repeatable types of test methods. So this simple, won't spend a lot of time on this, but this is showing basically the unreliability of blue dye testing, that even at a 20 micron hole in a vial or a syringe, you have a 17% of the time you miss the leak. So it's that just kind of verifies the unreliability of blue dye testing in many types of packages. So I talked a little bit about the Hititerator, and this is a little bit of how it works. You basically, we're creating standards with this to be utilized for the validation process of our machine. And so basically you would put a vial into the chamber. You would close the chamber. You put the vial in, put the stoppers in, then you would close the chamber, turn on, you vacuum out the chamber, then you apply a certified gas concentration into the chamber. And once that fully fills the chamber, it also goes into the vial. Then you push the stopper down and you have that certified gas captured inside of the vial or the pre-filled syringe. So really nice tool, makes it very easy for us to make standards, reference standards for you for your validation purposes. So kind of just wrapping everything up, you know, technology continues to advance, and in the old days, blue dye testing or bubble testing was acceptable. It was the only type of test that were available. But technology is increasing at really an ever increasing speed. There's new technology coming out all the time, and this is one of those technologies that's now available to the marketplace. So even simply taking a reference sample or taking testing only a few of your product that are going down the line, there's no need for that, because the technology has advanced to the point that you can have a 100% inspection of every product coming down the vial and can guarantee that the headspace is good in that product. So this technology is available for the marketplace, and we have a full line of products to provide for this monitoring type of system. So I think that's most of the things I wanted to share today, and we'll go. This just kind of shows the full line from lab up to full scale, and we'll go to the questions and see if we can answer if anyone has posted any questions, and begin to answer those. Okay, I don't.
Well, I guess
I don't see any questions, Mike, thus far. So.
Well, I guess you covered it all. And if there's anything additional that comes up, or any future views, people that are watching this later, any questions that may be coming up, please don't hesitate to get a hold of our office or any of the other locations. And Mike, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to learn more about the importance of Headspace content verification. As mentioned, if there are any future interests, one of the things that Mike had discussed was the laser cube product, and that's going to be launched at Pack Expo coming up next month in Vegas, so we'll have that there. But
Okay.
more importantly, after that show is conducted, the unit's going to be available in the life scientific territory for demonstration. So we'd be happy to run it by your site to be able to look at as a demo for production lines, but also it's very applicable in research and development, product development laboratories, and long-term stability studies that may be going on in the analytical stability group areas. So don't hesitate to get with us relative to potential demo on that. And our next lunch and learn session is going to be on September 13th at 11:45. JV Northwest is going to facilitate content relative to heat transfer and also mixing systems. So Kyle Sawyer's a many decade expert in the field of both mixing and heat transfer systems. So stay tuned for more information on that. Thank you so much, Mike, for an excellent presentation. I really enjoyed it and learned several things myself. So thanks again. We appreciate everybody's time today and hope you found the content valuable. Take care. Have a good week.